We'd found our dream home, an old Victorian with sprawling gardens, creaking floorboards, and enough character to fill a library of novels. It was perfect, almost. There was one detail the realtor conveniently forgot to mention, something we discovered on moving day. On the second floor, at the end of a long, dimly lit hallway, stood a single stubborn door. It was painted a stark, glossy black, a stark contrast to the faded floral wallpaper surrounding it, and it was locked. We didn't think much of it at first. Probably a storage closet the previous owners forgot to clear out. My partner, Alex, jiggled the antique brass knob. Nothing. We tried every key on the massive, clanking ring the realtor had given us. None of them fit. We even tried a credit card, then a butter knife. The door wouldn't budge. It was sealed shut as if it were part of the wall itself. "We'll call a locksmith tomorrow," Alex said with a shrug, and we went back to the chaos of unpacking boxes. But that night, the house began to share its secrets. It started around a.m. a faint, rhythmic sound that seemed to echo from deep within the house. Thump. Thump, thump. I sat up in bed, my heart instantly pounding in my chest. "Alex, did you hear that?" I whispered. He was already awake, his eyes wide in the moonlight streaming through our window. We both held our breath, listening. The sound came again, clearer this time. Thump, thump, thump. It wasn't coming from downstairs or outside. It was coming from upstairs, from the end of the hall. It sounded like someone was knocking, but they weren't knocking on the door. It sounded like they were knocking from the other side. We crept out of our room, the old floorboards groaning under our bare feet. The hallway was colder than the rest of the house, the air thick and still. We stood before the black door, the knocking now feeling like it was vibrating right through the wood into the soles of our feet. It was a slow, deliberate knock, desperate but patient. Who could possibly be in there? We called out, "Hello? Is someone in there?" The only reply was the persistent, maddening thump. Thump, thump. We were paralyzed, a mix of fear and morbid curiosity holding us in place. After what felt like an eternity, it just stopped. Silence flooded the hallway, heavier and more terrifying than the noise it replaced. We didn't sleep for the rest of the night. This became our new, horrifying routine. Every night the knocking would start. Sometimes it was frantic, a rapid-fire drumming that made the door tremble. Other nights it was a slow, melancholic tap like a lonely heartbeat. We stopped inviting friends over. The joy of our new home had evaporated, replaced by a constant gnawing dread. We tried everything. We brought in a locksmith who, after an hour of drilling and picking, declared the lock was unlike anything he'd ever seen. It was fused from the inside. We considered taking an axe to it, but some primal fear held us back. It felt like we weren't just trying to open a door. We were trying to break into a tomb. What were we so afraid of finding? Or maybe, what were we afraid of letting out? One night the knocking was different. It wasn't just knocking anymore. We heard a voice, a faint, muffled whisper, sliding under the door like a cold draft. We couldn't make out the words, just a sibilant, pleading hiss. And then we heard our daughter's name. "Lily," it whispered. That was the breaking point. We grabbed Lily from her room and all slept together on the couch downstairs, a fortress of pillows and blankets, our only defense against the thing in our house. We decided we would leave. First thing in the morning we would pack a bag and go and never look back. This house wasn't a home. It was a cage, and we were trapped in it with something else. The next morning the house was silent, eerily so. The usual morning chorus of birds outside our window was absent. The air was heavy, charged with an unspoken tension. Steeling ourselves, Alex and I crept up the stairs, our makeshift weapon a heavy fireplace poker. As we reached the top landing, my breath caught in my throat. I grabbed Alex's arm, my fingers digging into his skin. He saw it too. At the end of the hall, the source of our terror, the black door, was open. It was just slightly ajar, a sliver of profound darkness visible in the gap. Every rational thought screamed at us to run, to grab our daughter and flee, but we couldn't. We had to know who had been knocking. Who had been whispering our daughter's name? We checked on Lily first. She was fast asleep on the couch, safe and sound. Then, with our hearts hammering against our ribs, we walked the long hallway for the last time. We stood before the open door, the poker held out in front of us. No one was missing. We were all here, so who or what had finally gotten out? Alex pushed the door open. The room was empty, completely bare. No furniture, no windows, just four bare plaster walls, a floor, and a ceiling. Dust motes danced in the single beam of light from the hallway. There was no sign that anyone had ever been inside, but the air was freezing and it carried a smell. I'll never forget the smell of damp earth and something old, something that had been waiting in the dark for a very, very long time. We backed away slowly, never taking our eyes off that empty space. We ran, we grabbed Lily, didn't even stop to pack, and we just drove. We never found out what was in that room or what happened to the thing that knocked. But sometimes late at night, when the house is quiet, I think I can still hear it, a faint, distant tapping. And I know with a certainty that chills me to the bone that it's looking for us. It's no longer trapped and it remembers our names. Thanks for joining me on this chilling tale. If you love stories that keep you up at night, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. Stay safe out there and maybe double check your locks. You never know who might be knocking.